When you plug in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magic numbers along with the results per month, the software will tell you, is risk acceptable? What is the current risk? What is the number of medically unreliable results currently being reported? And what's the margin for error? It also shows you the current risk and unacceptable risk on risk bars. And again, the question is, can you draw the line? This is a really good method. Well, you see a risk evaluation chart that answers the question, is this method acceptable? So it again shows the true value and the allowable error limits. And as long as all your results here are within your medical goals, the method is acceptable. The change chart that you've always known as a QC or Levy-Jennings chart answers the only question a QC chart can ever answer, and that is the method stable? We can then come in and simulate a failure. So what we do with every single QC sample is after this line, there are 20 points, and one of them will fail. So that means the risk after here is unacceptable. Can you draw a line between where you are now and unacceptable risk? And will QC detect that change? And in this instance, it will. Margin for error is the number of SDs the mean can shift before risk becomes unacceptable. Patient risk and QC effectiveness vary with the margin for error. Margin for error takes into account those 5 numbers, and from the margin for error, you can determine the mathematically optimum QC process to meet your acceptable risk criteria. So where sigma is the number of SDs the mean can move until the allowable error limit, margin for error auto-adjusts based on your acceptable risk level. If you want to say, I want to detect risk when it's only 0.1% failure, your margin for error will be smaller than if you're willing to accept a 5% failure. Margin for error takes all the theory and combines it into one number for you. So as you go along, as you change those numbers, you can see that the pass and the fail criteria will change. The current risk, the number of results that currently fail, so both the percentage and the number of medically unreliable results per month can be calculated from those numbers, and you can see how the margin for error varies. When the margin for error varies, you're going to change your QC process.